those moments of backsliding, because it has ever happened to me, and God is someone not to joke with. You will have to face the consequences. Do you have such moments where you feel like you lost track and you had to come back to God, and it really cost you big time for you moving away from listening to God and maybe Christianity?
100%. I would say in my 20s, it was a big challenge. First of all, I got a very high level job at a young age, and it was a job that came with a lot of money, and a lot of work. And so sometimes when you combine money with the power, with influence, and a lot of mastarehe, it's very easy. It's not always, but it's very easy to start moving away from God. And for me, that stage in my 20s, even very early 30s, I was very comfortable. I had money. I was traveling all over the world. Did I really need God? Of course, I knew I needed God, but God became secondary in my life. And so God has a way of teaching you lessons. And you don't have to, if you don't learn them for yourself, you're going to learn them through a very tough season. So for me, when I left work in 2020, things had to shift for me. And I had to realize, yeah, kumbe God is the one who was sustaining me, because I went through a season of no money, and I was used to having a lot of money. I was used to a certain lifestyle. I was used to traveling where I wanted to go. So God was like, hey, I'll teach you lessons. This money that you love too much more than me, I will show you that money can come and money can go. So that was my experience, because for me, money was one of my highest things. I needed to have money to feel secure, to feel confident, to feel like I'm someone. But I went through a season of no money. And God was like, let's see what you're going to do. And I had to get back to a place of returning back to God fully. I had to go through repentance and, just asking God to forgive me for the many things that I had done that I knew were displeasing in His sight. I also go to a place of trusting God afresh. Because now when you're dependent on God and you don't have a salary, you're like, God, rent, sasa ni wewe. Come and come through.
Yeah.
And I was not used to that. My growing up, at least most of our lives, we had been comfortable. Our dad also worked in government, very high level job. So we were very comfortable. So I was not used to this phase of I don't have, that if I want to do something, I don't have, you know. It was very, very difficult. I went through serious depression. I struggled even with suicidal thoughts. I'm not ashamed to say it because it was my journey. I went through a very tough time, a lot of rejection from friends, because also when you're going through tough times is when you realize who is very genuine in your life. People love you when you have money. People love you when you can go out for sherehe, you can do stuff for them. I was a big shot in government back in the days. But now when I left and everybody knew I had left, the phone calls stopped coming, the invites stopped coming. You try calling someone, maybe even just saying hi, somebody assumes maybe you're asking for money. So I went through a very lonely season, but I do believe God does His best work. Of course, all of God's work is best, but He does His best work in those seasons. And for me, He had to reconfigure me a whole new way and teach me, Joanne, I will need you to change your ways. So I had to change my ways. I had to break off from certain associations. I had to learn to trust God afresh. I had to learn to walk with Him. I had to learn to read the Bible for myself. Going to church, setting time aside every day to spend time with God. And it has been an amazing, amazing journey. I tell God He's my best friend, because when all other friends went, He's the only one who remained.